Two things to remember before this video gets going. Number one, Trakker's going to lead the mission. Number two, Spectrum's got such supervision. Yes! It's that high point of the 80s, the intro to the cartoon Mask, with its terrible lyrics, but everything else is pretty fabulous. Mask is one of my favourite 80s toy lines, and you know what? We're going to find out why today as we look at lots of toys from it. This is part 2 of my Mask Extravaganza. Part 1 was about 3 years ago. Not that these toys are getting expensive and hard to find or anything, but it's taken me 3 years to get enough to do part bloody 2. Unbelievable. Many thanks to the charity shop that supplied some of these. Ah, dearie me. Well, you'll be pleased to hear I've got loads of them now, so I can do some more relatively quickly. But the point is, Mask is the mighty power that will save the day. Yes, it was Mask versus Venom. Mask with the good guys, the Mobile Armoured Strike Command. Venom with the vicious, evil network of mayhem. Yes, I know. 80s. Don't question it. Basically, it's good guys versus bad guys, and they all had weird attack vehicles that could hide as normal road vehicles or helicopters or whatever they were. Look, here's one now. Brum, screech. There we are, that was fun, wasn't it? This is Jackhammer, one of the original vehicles from Series 1, and one of the main ones from the series, as I remember. Being driven by Cliff Dagger, the figure in there, who we'll have a look at afterwards. But yeah, so this is based on a Ford Bronco, quite obviously, with a bit of customization, and it's looking very 80s and black and sleek, and has like a weird switch on it. I don't know if that is a feature of a Ford Bronco that I wasn't aware of. Possibly it was. But it has specific uses for this. So right, old Cliff Dagger's driving along, being moderately evil. Needs to be super evil, because, you know, it's a Saturday morning cartoon, needs some excitement. And so, it transforms. But how, you ask? Well, he opens the doors, and no, he doesn't open the doors. You can open the doors to put the figures in, though. That's why that happens. So, basically, this moves up, completely covering and totally blocking his view. That doesn't seem good, does it? The more I think about that, the more stupid it seems. But wait, there are some guns that come out of the front. Look, as it drives along, they shoot constantly. It's a waste of ammo. But do you know why the mighty windshield can be covered? Because he doesn't bloody need it, because, wait for it, fucking great gun turret that he actually drives the car from later. Out you come, Cliff. How you been, mate? Good to see you. Your mask is all one colour with no paint. That disappoints us. Here you go. And, yeah, there should be a little control thing here, but it's missing like an extra silver gun. But I don't have that, I'm afraid, so you'll just have to imagine it with your brains. But yeah, there we are, look. Proper bloody gun turret. And now it's like a tank thing, shooting out of the front and firing all the exciting lasers from the top here. Because it was all lasers in 80s Saturday morning cartoons, mainly, I suppose, because they didn't want to show people being shot and slowly bleeding to death. So instead you could just have exciting lasers that explode and nobody ever really gets particularly hurt. I think that in there is a little, I don't know if you can make that out, a little tray for the silver gun, which I no longer have. But yeah, this is one of the better vehicles. I think the Ford Bronco part looks cool, and it does look like something you probably wouldn't want to end up against on the highway. So let's look at the driver then, old Cliff Dagger. Now, part of the things of Mask were all the characters come with the titular masks, which are actually helmets, but let's not get into that. And they all had like a special power. Cliff Dagger's here was called Torch, and it was a flamethrower. Can't really say a lot more than that. It was quite a simple one. But he featured heavily in the cartoon as one of evil Miles Mayhem's main henchmen. And his thing was he was a bit daft. He wasn't the brightest sock in the drawer. And look, here's his face looking upset with a very loose-looking eye patch going on. But yeah, he was one of the main guys and not very bright, I think is the perfect way to describe old Cliff Dagger. Notice very small figures if you haven't seen part 1 of the Extravaganza. Bendable legs, but that's about it, in order to make the vehicles not absolutely massive. Right, off you go, Cliff. We got more vehicles to look at as we go into one of the good guys. It is Raven. Screech. It's a Corvette, I suppose, isn't it? Quite obviously, actually. Quite a sleek-looking thing. Much, well, this shares a lot with the sort of main vehicle of the entire series. Good guy headman Matt Trakker's vehicle was a very 80s-looking car that turned into a sort of jet. And this does similar, although in a slightly different way. So, yeah, looks the part. I'm slightly distressed by the massive button sticking out the side, but there we are. It's still a nice nifty car. But wait, what is its power? Oh, car's fucked. that was the end of the cartoon. No, this is only part of it. You do another sort of bizarre thing where it just looks like it's completely wrecked. These move to the side. These move underneath. If you like, you can pull up these and have them as, I don't know, what they're supposed to be, little guns or something. Did something fit in them that is now missing? I genuinely don't know. I never had this one as a child. Well, there we are. That's that. It's now looking like something from The Spy Who Loved Me. You can press this. Oh, it's got some fans out the back because, wait for it, the doors open in a weird way and it can fly. Yay! I know. It's not one of the more convincing flying ones, this, is it? Although Trakker's car, it must be said, just had gull-wing doors that open, so maybe it's not quite as bad as that. But yeah, there we are. That is Raven. Not one of my favourites, purely because it just kind of never quite look the part for me. It does have a fucking amazing action feature though, right? Wait for it. You pull this back. There we are, spring-loaded. I believe this fires now. Yay! Fires like a little razor disc thing. But wait for it. You can do it twice. It actually stores another one up inside, so you can fire twice without reloading, which is a rarity for a toy of this type. And that gives it 45 extra points, in my opinion. And here's the guy driving it. Rory Calhoun. No, Calhoun Burns. What a name, Calhoun Burns. If you do have burns on your Calhoun, consult a physician immediately. His mask has been cut away at the back. It had a big thing that went down the back that somebody has cut it away at one point to make it look smaller and probably more like the one from the cartoon or something. His mask was called Gulliver, and if I remember correctly, could make things bigger and smaller, which seems like a sort of insanely overpowered tech, and in fact far more powerful than probably anything else shown in the bloody series. There he is. Hello, Calhoun. How you doing? Nice quiff. We're all impressed. Very sort of slightly futuristic G.I. Joe style costume thing he's got on there, as opposed to Cliff Dagger, who just brought a T-shirt. Ah, dearie me. Yep. Not one of the better ones, though. I do like the car, but the whole transform thing, I don't know, just doesn't feel like it would really fly, do you know what I mean? Even in a fantasy line. But never fear, a Pontiac GTO is here. Screech, it's all orange. That's nice. A bit of colour after two very dark vehicles there. Yep, this looks the part. Has some extra bits underneath. We'll ignore those. We'll pretend the shadow. Also, ignore the broken part, children. These are quite intricate and they're very old and very pricey, so expect some broken bits. But yeah, this is driven by the evil Bruno Shepherd. Boo. Presumably he gets Brunos and makes them run into like a specific area of a field or something. Anyway, yep, that's his nifty car, and that is so broken. Let's show you how it transforms, beginning with that, because yeah, you can see with the clip's broken, that's just not happening. Also, it's got this weird thing on the wheels that Raven had as well. Might as well do those, I suppose. Well, how exciting was that? Also, wait for it, the boot opens, and inside is a long claw and a chain, and it's just sort of the right size to grip around a figure's ankle or wrist or something and drag them along behind his car. And like a fucking great mortar or something, blimey. If I recall, that actually fits on there. Not going to, because it's broken. You'll have to use your imaginations there, I'm afraid. But if, yeah, you push this little bit in and the main transformation occurs. Oop, there we are. It happened eventually. It's like a tank thing. Oh, these are kind of broken, but these are supposed to be like guns or something that poke up in the air. Yeah, that's not looking too good, that one, actually. Can I get it to clip back on? Go on. On you go. There we are. That'll do. Yeah, and it's weird. It kind of looks like his Pontiac's just been flattened. But with the with the tank tracks, if I can actually say it, yeah, it does add a bit of menace to it. It does kind of look like his car's just gone slightly squashed. But hey, that is something you probably wouldn't want to see come along the road. Mainly because you'd probably have to swerve off the road because it's now so wide it's going to take up most of 2 lanes. That's a problem, isn't it? And this turns around and it's a hairdryer. I made that bit up. Was there something that happened at the front? Oh no, this just slides out further, that's it. Which enables this popping up on the springs, or at least it would do if it wasn't broked. Yeah, don't mind this one. It's an interesting design how it sort of opens out into this device, but unfortunately, without this sort of mortar on the front, the visual effect of it is lost somewhat. It looks less tank-like. Right, come on, Bruno. I remember Bruno Shepherd. I had a differently coloured version of this figure that came with a little standalone like gun turret thing, which apparently now is one of the rarest. I wish I'd kept that. But yeah, my main memory of this is, there he is, look how evil he is. His mask just doesn't kind of fit on properly. He'd be looking through the nose piece. Confusing. And also, it has to be said, the back of it looks quite a lot like the tip of a penis. But hey, that's not what we're here to look at. He's also got one glove, so he might be... I was going to say he might be Billy Idol. Actually, I think the next thing we're looking at is far more Billy Idol than old Bruno Shepherd here. Anyway, get back in your tank and go and cause some evil. I know that's what you want to do. Put that bit back in before I lose it. Next up, something a bit smaller. It is a touring cycle with Floyd Malloy. We'll get on to Floyd Malloy later. I like the way his mask doesn't actually cover the top of his head so everyone can see his poncy do. Yep, it is a big old touring cycle, certainly not with massive jet engines in the back, which is a bit of a giveaway. So this is the evil version, basically, of Condor, the green bike-stroke helicopter I showed in the first video, which is one of my personal favourites. Yeah, I don't think this is like a specific touring cycle, is it? If it is, it's not one I'm aware of. I think it's just sort of a generic one. But press the button on the back and, you guessed it, padoink. Yep, there's now a big gun at the front for him to shoot things with. These things open out, and now it flies. It did fire rockets out of here, but the rockets are long missing, tragically. Other than that, it's in quite good nick, this one. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't like the touring cycle part of it that much, I think, because these things at the back look too engine-y, but when it's actually open, it does have an interesting look to it. I like all the different fins and bits and bobs. And it's called Vampire, which I can't remember if I've told you that already, but that is its name, Vampire. And yeah, with as many fins and pointy things, kind of lives up to that name, I feel. Let's have a look at Floyd then. Good old Floyd Malloy, what a name. So yeah, his mask is buckshot, and it fires ball bearings. That's it, really. Oh, we didn't say what Bruno Shepherd's penis-looking mask did with it. It was called Magna Beam, and I think it just was a bit like Magneto from the X-Men, but, you know, lesser powered. So, yeah, take that. I don't know what that is on his shoulder. We did work that one out. So, if you look, I think old Floyd Malloy here is a bit based on Billy Idol. Wasn't played as such in the cartoon, though. In the cartoon, I think he had like a weird squeaky voice. I can't quite remember. One of my favourite figures, this one. I quite like the colour scheme and the sort of weird design of the mask and that. Seem to remember the mask being disappointingly bright red in the cartoon, but hey, I'm not entirely sure of that because I have not seen Floyd Malloy episodes in quite some time. But there he is on his Vampire. Off you go to go and hassle Bram Stoker or something. Next up, it's another classic American car. A Chevy, a 57 Chevy, I think, specifically, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not an expert on such things. It has a spare tyre which flies off like a weapon. That's missing. Great. But yeah, nice flame paint job on it. Not bad, that. Driven by Hondo McLean, who we'll have a look at shortly. Now, the transformation on this, and these things are built a bit like a tank anyway, so they just kind of went with that, really. So this bit goes up, and you've got kind of a targeting system or something. These come out. And like, it looks like guns. It just looks like Herbie getting overexcited or something. But the main thing is, you twist this, and pyoing! There we are. It comes out with like a tank bit on the top. Bang, 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 bang. And now has 6 wheels rather than 4 for greater traction or something. And also, whoop, the top floats out, which is the only way to get old Hondo in there. This flips up, and actually you can put the feet on the little pegs here. And, oh, actually, that's not going to be so easy. Oh, this plastic doesn't feel too good, actually. It feels like Hondo is melting a bit or something. That's not good. You can see, if you want to see particularly inside, tough luck, because there isn't enough light shining in it, but there's not a whole lot in there. A couple of stickers for inlays and a seat. And there we are. It's now a bit more of a force to be reckoned with, unless you shoot up there and hit the driver directly. So be careful, Hondo. Careful, mate. This is Hondo McLean's second vehicle. His first was Firecracker, as I believe I showed in the first video. But we're going to have a look at him here. Never liked this design of Hondo particularly. He's a little bit too G.I. Joe Battle Force, kind of overly brightly coloured, weird square future armour, which didn't feel very masked to me. And the mask itself is a really weird shape. There he is under it. Ah. Hello, I'm Hondo McLean. Please listen to my podcast about gardening. So, yeah, his mask was just Blaster 2, if I remember. His original mask was Blaster, which, like, fired energy beams. And this, it fires energy beams but better, or something. I don't know. Anyway, Hondo McLean, everybody. Why has he got such a sort of heavy armoured suit and then no gloves? I don't know. I don't know these things. This isn't one of... Again, I'm showing you all the ones I don't like so much in this video for some reason. I kind of picked them at random. But, yeah, I really like the Chevy, but... It's just sort of real odd-looking thing, I think partially because of the bits sticking out. Although I do enjoy the whole twisting the top and the whole thing flies up. That's pretty cool. Right, and now we're on to a last one, which I must admit I have deliberately picked as it may be my favourite toy out of the entire line. Although I do love Switchblade and I do love Condor. But this is the first we've shown actually from the third series of toys. Everything today has been from the second series with the exception of Jackhammer, which was from the original first. Yep, Series 3, it's Manta! Based on a Nissan 300ZX, I think? I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. A Nissan of some type. Driven by somebody called Vanessa. Can you tell? Can you tell, friends? Yeah. This is a bloody cool looking car, but I love the transformation. So this is another car that turns into an aeroplane. But unlike the other two, this one is far more convincing because it has actual proper wings, which I think really helps that kind of thing. She's giving a lift to Sly Rax there, who's... I don't have his vehicle. It was called Piranha, if I recall. It was like a motorbike and sidecar, and the sidecar turned into a submarine. And Sly Rax himself was portrayed in the cartoon pretty much as, well, Jack Nicholson. It was just like a Jack Nicholson impersonation. Anyway, that's not relevant to this nifty mobile. So what happens here is, it is a car. Did you guess that bit? But, wait for it. This comes... Oh, bloody hell, that's tight. Ah, gotcha. This comes out. Goes up, gives you spoiler and engines there. Well, more like an aero fin, I suppose. What else happens? Oh, wait for it. The wheels swing around to give it some fins at the front. See, look, this is looking very much like the Lotus from The Spy Who Loved Me at the moment. But then this happens. Bloody great rocket launchers and guns at the front, but also proper... Oh, such a shame that that's broken. Oh, never mind. I'll live with it. Mainly because these are really pricey now. Bloody hell. Yeah, proper wings at the back. It actually feels like something that would fly, or at the very least go 30 feet at Kitty Hawk and then collapse. Yeah, this is one of my absolute favourite designs. Really enjoy it. And you know what massively adds to the enjoyment for me? The action feature. Oh, wait. I've decided I don't want you in this anymore. I shall press the other button. Literally ejector seat. Well, less ejector and more plummet out seat. It even comes with a little seat belt in there. There's one for Vanessa in there as well. Let's have a look at Sly Rax's lovely face. Hello, I'm Sly Rax. Please listen to my podcast. I talk about gardening. Yeah. He's got another one of these ones with a mask where he'd actually be looking out of the mouthpiece. Dearie me. Disappointing. But yeah, we're not here for him. We're here for Manta and Vanessa Warfield. One of the few female characters in the series. Basically, she was the evil female character. And, oh, I can't remember the name of the... Because there was an odd thing where there was like the good team, so to speak, had a female member as well. Gloria something or other, if I remember. And they never made a toy of her really cool car. They did make a toy version of her with a different car later, but it wasn't the same, guys. It wasn't the same. So Vanessa here, her mask is called Whip. And, I don't know, like a laser whip thing comes out of it and attacks people. They didn't put a lot of thought into that one, I'll be honest. Oh, God, this is... Why is this so difficult to get off? This is interesting. When I had this as a child, and the mask was more rubbery than it is here. Also, she had red hair in the version I had. I'm sure she did. This is sort of grey. Oh, well, grey, sorry, brown. There we go. Well, you do get these painting differences, don't you? All the little variations on the figures and that. But there we are. Vanessa Warfield, everybody. Thank you, thank you. Please listen to my podcast. It's about... No, enough podcasts. Back in your car. Right, that will do for today. That is 6 rather lovely mask vehicles. What's my favourite? Definitely Manta. Really like Jackhammer too. Then... I'm trying to think, I don't know. You see, even the ones where there's aspects of them I don't like so much, there's something I like about the overall design or feel. Just a great toy line in general. Anyway, come see the Laser Rays fighting crime. That's another cartoon. Look, just look up the cartoon on YouTube and enjoy the intro. You will not regret it. Unless you have like a drastic fear of anything 80s, in which case it'll probably kill you.
Don't try, keep it secret.